Well, as Kevin Brogan will tell us in just a moment, there are signs that the market is beginning to become a little bit more stable, but our two auction capitals record clearance rates over 70% again. Back in just a moment.
In today's market, great ideas alone simply aren't enough, but innovative execution can hand you a real competitive advantage. Nightlight is a cutting-edge illuminated signboard by Printforce that offers round-the-clock visibility and features that maximise advertising space, improving your exposure. Buyers can now see the full picture, day or night, with Nightlight's edge-to-edge illuminated surface, which utilises environmentally friendly, scratch-resistant technology. Now available in 6x4 and 8x4. Nightlight is as versatile as you need to be in today's market. Let your clients know you're working day and night for them, and then prove it with Nightlight.
Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic joins me. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. How are you going?
Very well, thank you. As I said there, market seems to be showing some signs of a little bit of stability. Combined capital cities returning a preliminary auction clearance rate of 68.3%. We'll bring that up on the screen now. Good news, Kevin.
Yeah, look, it's down a little bit on last week, but it is still at that level that is consistent with the story of increased buyer confidence.
Okay, well, let's have a little bit more look. 74.8% out of Sydney and 73.3%. Gee, I've got to say the Brisbane result at 54.5% is not too bad at all.
I'm glad you picked up on that, Kevin. I was going to mention it. So, Brisbane obviously has a history of being a sort of little bit lower than the other capital cities, but above 50%. That's the first time that's happened this year for Brisbane, and I'm sure you'll also mention Adelaide, which I'm afraid has gone the other way. A bit of a faltering there in the clearance rate, down in the mid 30s.
Canberra 52.8%. That's not too bad, but overall, as we said at the outset there, the auction numbers are beginning to stabilise. I think a similar number in the last week of auctions compared to the week before, Kevin?
Yes, that's right, and every indication that it'll be similar again next week. The only market we've seen a little bit of a blip with was Sydney. They've got a bank holiday tomorrow, and obviously not everybody gets the benefit of the bank holiday, but I think that might be behind the fact that Sydney just dropped a little for the week that included yesterday's activity.
Yeah, I think you're looking at the bank holiday being today, aren't you? Monday?
Oh, yes.
Not tomorrow.
Beg your pardon.
That's all right. I know your days are very busy and you're working 7 days a week, so it's. Tell me, interesting that some of the real estate agents will take a bank holiday, but not all the bankers.
No, look, I was in Sydney during the week meeting with bankers, and quite a lot of the offices in Sydney are national offices, and of course, the business world continues outside of that. So yeah, there'd be plenty of people in banks working pretty hard in Sydney today. Yeah.
We had top sale, which we'll show you in just a moment, out of New South Wales, was in Sydney and Northern Beaches. So let's bring up the Sydney regions for a moment and have a look at, say, Northern Beaches at 79%. That's a pretty good result, but some spectacular results in there too. You're looking at inner southwest at 87.1%, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. In the inner west at 88%. I mean, both of them putting in really strong results. As we've said before, the volumes are a challenge, and indeed there's a couple of not applicables in there for the sub-regions where we didn't even get 10 results. Look, North Sydney and Hornsby as well being a very strong suburb, and the eastern suburbs as well, sort of mid 70%. I mean, the usual suspects are in the list of top performing regions.
You mentioned eastern suburbs there at 76.5%. There was a sale recorded in eastern suburbs in Tamarama, but it was a sale prior to auction, so we won't have a video on that. But it was in at 6 Kenneth Street, and McGrath's selling this one for $4,750,000. But Kevin, let's go to our top sale out of New South Wales. A sale under the hammer on Saturday. Beautiful coastal views of this one. I believe first time offered in 60 years, 16 Robertson Road at North Curl. Pretty incredible home. This, like, I've got to say from the outside, somewhat ordinary, but recording a sale price of 3.2 million, and the guide price on this one was about $1 million under that. Kevin, what happened there?
Yeah, look, it was. I mean, I did have a close look at this one because obviously that sale price is significantly above what the guide price was. And in looking around, I mean, I did see sales in North Curl starting with a 3, so 3 million, but they were genuinely newer houses. As you can see, this one's presented, I say in original condition. It's obviously very well maintained, but it hasn't been renovated. A lot of the marketing material for this is around the potential. And when you look at how close it is to the coastline, walking distance to the beach at North Curl, it's got all of those attributes where somebody could actually take this and make it their own, either with a completely new dwelling on the site or adding to the one that's already there.
We're looking at a 409 square metre block, and we're looking therefore at land price or land value at over $3 million. I'm amazed that it actually fetched that sort of figure. But, good luck to the agents for doing that from upstate.
Oh, yeah, look, absolutely. And it's interesting. I was looking at land values around there to verify this. And I think the expectations were probably a little bit low because I think it was clear the land price would be in the sort of low to mid twos, from the evidence that I could see. So, look, it'd be interesting to see what the eventual purchaser, the successful bidder, actually does with this property, because I think they must have attributed at least some value to the improvements.
Okay, we'll take you to Melbourne now, and we'll look at the results out of Melbourne. Some good 80% here. We're looking at inner west and inner south, both in the 80s. What's your take on this one, mate? Walk me through some of the suburbs.
Well, look, I mean, the inner east and inner south, I mean, those inner suburbs, we've seen a fair bit of strength quite recently. And, those inner suburbs have got some pretty high value real estate, which is leading the charge in terms of auction clearance rates. But if you look at the outer east as well, I mean, that's 81.1%. So that sort of shows the sort of depth of confidence that's coming back into the market. And there's a number as well in the 70s. I mean, you've got the northeast and inner both in the 70s. So look, it's quite a broad spread of increased confidence and better results.
We'll just take you to our Just Click Videos video on the top sale out of Victoria. This property at 44 Alma Terrace in Newport. This one in Melbourne West, $2,825,000. Greg Hocking, LE Properties, LE Partners, my apologies, Lee Melbourne and Wayne LE, selling this for better. Good figure there, 2.8 million.
Absolutely. So look, I mean, this is an area. It's about 12 kilometres to the west of Melbourne, just a little south. Look, it's a 579 square metre block. It's built in 1925, but extensively renovated to a very high standard with a massive extension. Median house price in this suburb, Newport, is around the $1 million mark. So this is something quite significantly special for the location. And that $1 million median price is about 8% down on the year. So this is an area that was hit by that market softening, but I mean, it is clearly, there's a resurgence there.
Indeed. Okay, we'll take you to Queensland now. Top sale out of Queensland. Interesting, in the last couple of weeks, we've had sales out of Gold Coast, but this time we're back into the Brisbane market. Kevin, 24 Percival Terrace at Holland Park. On Brisbane South Side, $1,746,000. Bell Properties, Jonathan Harper Hill and Rachel Dwyer selling this 5-bedroom home. And we'll just have a look at some of the photos of the inside of this one. Top position, top views, Kevin?
Absolutely. Look, this is almost 1,200 square metres of land. It's only 7 kilometres southeast of the Brisbane city centre, with views of Brisbane. So elevated position. Interesting to note, this property sold in December 2016 for 1.45 million or thereabouts. So a bit of growth there. I mean, in this suburb, you've actually got a median price of 720,000. So there's quite a mix of property within the Holland Park area. But nonetheless, this property, if you're looking at the pictures of it now, you'll see, it's extremely well presented, very well renovated, and with those sensational views out to the north towards the city.
Yeah, well, that's one of the features of some of the suburbs on the south side, of course, is that there are some hilly pockets, and this one is certainly on one of those, and it looks back to the cities you'll see from those photographs, and you get some good views of the city. We'll take you to the ACT now, and the top sale there. A classics 60s style, this one, double brick home. It's on 731 square metres, 88 Cresswell Street at Campbell, $1,155,000. Luton Properties selling this one, Tim and Justine Burke. A three-bedder, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we've mentioned quite often when we look at houses in Canberra how they're often opposite a reserve or surrounded by sort of leafy streets. This one is directly opposite a reserve, but if you peer through the trees, you'll see the Australian National War Memorial directly ahead. So quite intriguing views from this property. We've also spoken about how Canberra has sort of bucked the trend when the market was softening and prices have continued to go okay. But interestingly, this property sold in December 2017 for $1.29 million. So actually, the result achieved this week is not as high as the previous sale price. Median sale price for Campbell is $1.28 million, and that's actually been pretty steady. So look, this sale price just a fraction below perhaps what they were hoping for.
Yeah, and no doubt, and an indication once again that you need to listen carefully to what the market feedback is on these properties. You know, properties everywhere are not necessarily going up, as we sometimes have always expected. Let's take you to South Australia now, near and dear to your heart, Kevin. I like this property, a remodelled bungalow. I like this style at 73 Fisher Street, Myrtlebank. Central and Hills area. You might tell us a little bit about that area. $1,123,000 sold by Harris Real Estate, Sue Ellen Salt and Angelo Nicholas. What can you tell us about Myrtlebank?
Well, Myrtlebank is a suburb out to the southeast of Adelaide. It's 5 or 6 kilometres from Adelaide. But that sort of area is quite well sought after, and as we've seen with other highest sales that we've reported on from South Australia, this is a property that's retained some character features. If you look at the front facade, it's that sort of sandstone bungalow built in the mid-1920s. Once again, extensively renovated and extended to create a really modern living environment, whilst retaining that that tremendous street appeal. Of a very traditional bungalow frontage.
Yeah, lovely style. I've always liked that bungalow style. Kevin, let's have a look at Western Australia now. We don't always feature WA properties, but we're pleased to be able to do this one at 100 Holland Street at Fremantle. $1,195,000. Caphorn Young, Connie Handcock and Michael Harris. Harry's, my apologies, Michael. Selling this one, a three-bedder. Very peaceful, very pretty, as the agents have described it here. Kevin?
Yes, look, it is. I mean, this one again has that street appeal. I mean, this was built before the First World War in 1912. But again, the high value properties of this type have been, beautifully refurbished and extended. Interesting to see that this property actually sold in 2012, so 100 years after it was built, for $1.075 million. So, we've often commented on the Perth market having been quite soft since 2015. But this property, the way it's presented and whatever, has obviously created interest, and it undoubtedly has that street appeal and obviously market appeal that's got them the result that they deserve over the weekend.
Okay, well, just before I let you go, a quick word about the market generally. We've noticed the latest report out from CoreLogic, I think, during the week, showing that the indices or the prices haven't improved a lot. Is that an indication once again that the market is fairly stable, do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, look, I think we are coming off the back of a 12 to 14 month softening of the market if we look at Australia as a whole. And what we've had for the second month now is a demonstration that market has stabilized. The price growth nationally is zero. Basically, it is stable. But most importantly, I think for Sydney and Melbourne, we've seen for the second consecutive month a very modest increase of 0.2%. And Brisbane also 0.2% during the month of July, increase in values. So those increases are not substantial, but they're significant because they are increases on the background of a prior 14-month decline in values.
Indeed. Okay, well, just a summary for you. The weighted average from CoreLogic showing auction results over the weekend at 68.3%. Kevin Brogan will join me again on Friday and we'll have a look at the final numbers. Likely that they do move down a little bit, Kevin, but the numbers once again still a high number reported. I think about 880 out of 1,100. So that's a fairly good indication. So, Kevin, I look forward to seeing you on Friday, my friend. We'll get the final figures from you then.
Looking forward to it, Kevin. Thanks very much.
And thank you to CoreLogic. They supply our figures every week, and also to Just Click Videos for giving us those wonderful internal tours of the top sales. I'm Kevin Turner. Look forward to seeing you later in the week when Kevin Brogan will join me and we'll get the final numbers then. I'll see you then.
Did you know you can save up to 70% on your staff costs by outsourcing the low-value, repeatable tasks so your team can focus on growing your business? Beepo is an outsourcing provider focused on the real estate industry. With an English-speaking, tertiary qualified and fully trained team in the Philippines, Beepo will give your business the boost it needs to start growing and returning value to you. For more information, visit beepo.com.au.